Okay, so for the world of DC Comics, we finally have a picture of Aquaman. And I'll be honest, I wish they would do more of it in color, because I'd like to see what the scale mail really actually kind of looks like. It does. He look awesome. He looks fantastic. The body tats do give it much more of a Samoan feel. And I'm looking at it going, man, he looks kind of like professional wrestler Roman Reigns. You know, lots more of the Samoan like tribal aspects to him. I like the fact they do have the Aquaman logo on the belt area. I like the fact it's also scale mail. You know, other interpretations, they're like, well, he's going to be wearing armor. Good. Scale mail. He's underwater. Scale mail makes sense underwater. Did you go something as a chain link style, it would look horrible. The fact that he's not blonde, this picture gives him kind of a dread look, so it kind of seems like Samoan aquatic predator. But looks pretty badass. Initially, I was like, do I like the more Samoan flair to it? I was like, well, Samoans, islands. You could almost say that, you know, the Atlanteans might have had some sort of impact on Samoan culture, and that could be an interesting sort of aspect to it. And the Unite the Seven. I've heard of people say, well, that's the Seven Seas. Wouldn't it also be the seven primary members of the Justice League? So, it looks pretty good. Does it look identical to the primary costume? He's got a trident. It's got the A logo. It's got scale mail. Most times when they draw Aquaman, they tend to draw him in a scale mail sort of pattern. Do I care that he's not bright orange and green? Not really. Because given the fact that this color is probably in a black and white, you have to see hints of gold. If he's got gold armor, black tattoos, if he's got essentially dark colors accented with gold, sure. That's going to give him a decent pop of color. When you look at the majority of superheroes, DC related, Batman still has pointed ears, still has the cape, still has the chest logo, still has utility belt. Color palette changes a lot. Superman, it looks pretty close to what they did the New 52 launch. Green Lantern, his costume is green. Green had the logo. Green logo, domino mask. Beyond that, they went something entirely different than the comics. Wonder Woman very much looks like Xena. You know, she has a much more iconic look, and they had so many variations to go with, they picked one of the most boring ones. Had they done more like the old school, like Hippolyta, sort of battle armor, she would have looked amazing. Instead, it looks like Xena, which also shows the sheer cultural significance of Xena. Go back to Aquaman. It looks pretty good. Do I think he's Arthur Curry? No. No, he doesn't quite have it. He has the look of somebody who is an awesome general, who's a tremendous right-hand man, but doesn't quite have that look. And I think it's more of the Neptunian-esque beard they decided to give him. You know, I always picture him trying to, like, save his daughter Ariel from the way that they've got the very, very long hair on him and the very, very long, almost kind of like grayed out beard, and regular hair. He looks almost a little bit on the older side, but he looks pretty good. You know, I do wish that they would actually have done a photo, well, they probably will sooner or later, of him in an underwater setting. So I think him on land, one thing. Underwater, it'd be like nice to see how they're going to do, you know, will the hair be, will they have actually underwater, will they have like CGI and flowing motion into the hair? But, out of all the costumes they've shown so far, that one actually looks good. I like the incorporation of the tattoos. That's nice. And they're going to have the logo on him. So, he's about as close. He's actually, I'd probably say he's almost closer to the comics than Green Lantern was. Someone also mentioned about the Rowan Hansen thing. Girl from Champaign, Illinois, spent some time down there in college. 11-year-old girl who wondered why there weren't more comics about superheroines in DC. Okay, so DC Comics fan, Awesome. How come there are not more female superheroes? Ironically, there's a decent amount of female superheroes in the DC universe. They just tend to not sell well as comics. One of her specific complaints in the thing was, there's a Flash TV show, but there's no Wonder Woman TV show. Oh, they tried, and people hated the costume. The pilot never got aired, but if you watch the pilot, it's a decent pilot. You go, that actually would have worked as a TV show. But people hated the costume, trashed it almost instantly, and it didn't go anywhere. And it's like, when you think of the big three for DC, it's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. That is your trinity. Think of your big three in Marvel. Well, it's Spider-Man, Wolverine, probably Iron Man because of the movies. I do there's a bigger push to try to get more female-driven comics. I have mentioned how Marvel wants to do essentially female-only books, essentially, which I think is a horrible idea. Because if you take that concept and change the word female to anything else, it's horrible. Well, this book is all the Mexican superheroes. That's not too racist. This book is all the black superheroes. That's not too racist. Here's all the Asian superheroes. But doing all females, that's fantastic. That's great. I would like to see them have more prominent roles in the individual books, or more prominent roles in the teen books. When you watch the Teen Titans cartoon, the good one, the one that was Robin, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Raven, Starfire. Then later they threw in Terra. 40% of that team, women. Beast Boy, shapeshifter, so I guess you classify him as male, but being a shapeshifter, technically he could be either race. And I was like, that show actually had a tremendous amount of cultural diversity to it. And all the characters felt very good. Then they do a reboot, and Star Sapphire is a horrible character. A character that should be super easy for young girls to look up to. I've got a daughter. Currently, her favorite book for me to read is Girl Power. And you know what it is? It's a book that talks about Black Canary, talks about Supergirl, talks about Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl, Mary Marvel, Raven, Mira. So it talks about a lot of the female characters. With only giving like a couple sentences here and there. And they're drawn in the non-sexist way. So Batgirl looks like an athletic woman. Raven looks like an athletic woman. They all have regular proportions for someone who would engage in a tremendous amount of physical activity. And I was like, I like that. Lots of the books they do that are geared towards kids, they actually kind of either go for like a Bruce Timm style, where everyone is very angular and very sharp, or they actually go for the older, almost like 70s style of drawing the characters, where nobody had super exaggerated forms. And I was like, man, when did we go from styles where women are drawn like more regular looking people into everyone looks like a supermodel? That had been said, she complained about it, and therefore turned her into a superhero. Okay. Now, I feel left out in the world of comics, being a heterosexual male who is married, who has a child. Last time I checked, the vast majority of marriages kind of got destroyed in comics because marriage is no longer cool, no longer hip, no longer popular, let alone heterosexual marriage. So when are we going to have a superhero that I could look up to? Someone who's trying to balance work, being a father, being a husband, has bad knees, and also has asthma. Where's my superhero, DC? Where's my superhero? Where's my almost regular sort of guy who has a pretty interesting sort of night habit of going out and fighting crime, but has problems running, really can't jump because he's got bad knees and he's got asthma. He has an actual family to protect. Not making light of the fact that there's not that many female superheroes who are given the actual due, and a lot is because when they've tried, they've either done a really poor job at them or they haven't been very well received. And ironically, entertainment industry has been making money. If they were to make things that are more female character driven, and they were to see some sort of moment where they actually would sell well, then of course you would see more of them. A movie like Elektra, not a horrible movie, not a great movie. Catwoman, horrible movie. It had been called anything but Catwoman, people probably wouldn't have cared. But in the past, when they actually have tried to do these sort of things, like, Superman made money, like Supergirl. Was it good? No, not really. It was a cash grab. It was take a female character, try to do the same story for the male character, and run with it. That didn't work. I'm interested to see what a movie like Captain Marvel will be like. Yeah. Should be interesting. Wonder Woman? Sure. There is a much larger focus on the male characters, because one thing, they tend to be more popular. But then it comes down to this weird juxtaposition. You see this in wrestling too. Is somebody popular because they're used more often, or are they used more often because they're popular?